All right, people, I'm here. It's here. I am JT, aka the Master, and you know this is For No Reason Fantasy Football. We got some exciting news today. This is week 17. The Fantasy Football Championships, people. The championships. Hello. Time to put up or shut up until next season. If you are fortunate and lucky enough to get into the finals, I'm going to break it down to you. Each and every matchup. What I see, my opinion, and hopefully I've gotten you to this point, giving you some sound advice. Now, I can't say I'm perfect. I can tell you that. I tell you that. I'm not perfect. I wish I was. Then I would be winning every championship from now until I finish playing fantasy football. But that's not the case. Definitely not the case. Now, I got to put this out there. And full disclosure, I told you last week, and this was really bad advice I gave you about Rashawn Johnson, that he was going to explode. And the Chicago Bears, just like some other coach I know on another team, flipped the script and decided to put in another running back who dominated the touches and had a decent week. And Rashawn Johnson was basically, you could have just put him on the bench and he would have done the same thing for you. Really did nothing for you on the bench or whatever. And it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Well, I can tell you this. Next year, and I know you don't want to hear this, but next season, Rashawn Johnson is going to be a factor in the Chicago Bears. He's going to be a factor. I don't think Deontay Foreman is going to be there anymore. It's a question about whether Khalil Herbert's going to be on the team. I think the only effective back that they got that has shown flashes but not really given an ample chance is Rashawn Johnson. Okay? So that's it for next year, 2024, which is right around the corner. And I'm going to wish everyone a very merry and happy New Year. This is New Year's Eve, the last day, ironically, of 2023, and the last day of fantasy football for 2023 for most leagues. Week 18 is not in my opinion, makes any sense in playing a final in week 18. I don't think it makes sense. A lot of teams that have sold up playoff spots or resting their players. You don't get a full effect of fantasy football in week 18. Week 17, guys are trying to position themselves somehow or even squeak into the playoffs. So you have a lot of teams that have a desire to try to get into the playoffs and a last-ditch effort. So they're going to give you your best effort. Be that as it may, I'm going to go down this list. And some are going to benefit you. Some are going to say, oh, God, now what do I do? And I'm one of them. So I'm right there with you. Right there with you with this. Okay. Let's go down this. Raheem Mostert. I found out this morning. Raheem Mostert. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce his name correctly, but he's a running back for the Miami Dolphins. Is not likely to play. That means Devon Achane. Most people who have Devon Achane will benefit from this and will appreciate this. Okay. And will uh, like this. Let me put it this way. We'll like this. And he's going to basically have the backfield to himself. I mean, Jeff Wilson Jr. may fill in too, but it's going to be a Devon Achane against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, it's not an ideal matchup, but you played Devon Achane. I advised somebody yesterday, I think his name is Dean, if I'm not mistaken, on the FSP show, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday afternoon, that you played Devon Achane. And there was a consensus among the 4 or 5 of us. That's who you play. All right? Cole Kmet's a game time decision. You got to keep an eye on that. I think it's a 1 o'clock game. You got to keep an eye on that. Seattle Seahawks is hopeful that DK Metcalf will play. They're optimistic that Kenneth Walker may play. Alvin Kamara likely to play. Jordan Addison will play in Week 17. For those who are thinking that maybe KJ Osborne will get a bigger share of the pie, it looks like Jordan Addison has been listed as questionable for Sunday's game against the Packers. Addison was limited in practice on Thursday and Friday after he was sidelined on Wednesday. He was considered week to week on Monday, but back-to-back practices give him a chance to play on Sunday. Okay. Limited practices. Is he trending up or is he on an even keel here? And it's not going to get much better. Pay attention. That is a nighttime decision. Okay. Pay attention to that. During the day. You may get some news during the day that, right now I said he's likely to play. That can change. You don't know. That can change. You got to pay attention. I've said this all season. Pay attention to whatever's going on with all these teams and make your changes accordingly. Puka Nacua, likely to play. Marvin Mims, not likely to play. You know what? You got Marvin Mims out. You got Courtland Sutton out. How about Brandon Johnson? That he's more likely to have a bigger role. He's more likely to have a bigger role. Jerry Jeudy is expected to play. Jamar Chase participated in teams walkthrough Saturday and is expected to play on Week 17's game versus the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what? I'm telling you this, okay? I know if Jamar Chase, who's dealing with an AC sprain on his shoulder, who missed last week's game because of that, AC joint sprain, and it had a limited practice, and it was in the team's walkthrough, and it's listed as questionable, and is going to play. How long is he going to last? And he's the number 1 wide receiver. Okay. So he's going to get a lot of attention from his quarterback and from the defense. How long is he going to last? Risk reward. It's a risk, but you can be highly rewarded. If I was anybody who had Jamar Chase, I'd be crossing my fingers when I put him in the starting lineup. Okay? Because he's going to be the main focus of the Kansas City Chiefs. In Kansas City. He's going to be the main focus. And I know he's burnt them in his past, and they have an elephant-type memory. They remember that. They know that. Okay? Kyler Murray is expected to play against Philadelphia. I like Kyler Murray. I'll tell you in a little bit. Tua is going to play. Tua was dealing with a sprained thumb in his left hand, which is his throwing hand, but he's going to play. Okay? Let me see if I have anything else for you. Okay. That's it for now. Let's go down these games. Going past the game that took place yesterday, last night, which was an exciting game, but it is what it is. And let's go past that game and get to what counts today for people. And so we're not going to do the Thursday game. We're not going to do Saturday night game. We're going to go from there, which are 1 o'clock games, all the 1 o'clock games. The 4 o'clock games, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock games, and then the final game of the fantasy football season is the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota Vikings. Let's go to the beginning at the 1 o'clock games. First game on the docket. An exciting game. Two teams that are vying for position in their respective divisions. The Miami Dolphins at the Baltimore Ravens. Okay. Devon A. Chain. Like I said, it's going to be the main guy. Raheem Mostert is not playing. Tyreek Hill, Cedric Wilson. Okay. Baltimore is 2 against the second against the quarterback, 8th against the running back, 12th against the wide receiver, and 11th against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. If you're Miami, I know if you have Tua, you're going to have to play Tua. Okay, unless you got a better option or you use a better option. Let me put it that way. You got to play Tua. It's an explosive offense. I know they're playing the Baltimore Ravens. You see what the Ravens did to the San Francisco 49ers. Okay. San Francisco 49ers are San Francisco 49ers. This is the Miami Dolphins. Two different teams. Two different conferences. Baltimore dominated this season against the NFC. This is the AFC with a high-powered offense. You play Tua. You play Tyreek Hill, Devon A. Chain. Okay? Cedric Wilson is I know he's going to take the place of Jaden Waddle. Okay. He doesn't have the speed of Jaden Waddle. Okay. He's not a better player than Jaden Waddle. Okay. But you may want to put him in there at the flex position. Not a wide receiver 1 or 2. Definitely not. At the flex position. If you don't have any other choices and you want to go with a high upside wide receiver, if you don't have any high upside running back or whatever, you may want to go with him. Okay? The Miami defense against the Baltimore Ravens is 16th against the quarterback, 4th against the running back, 18th against the wide receiver, and 14th against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. Meaning that they're middle of the pack. They're middle of the pack. They play to run better than they play to pass, quite naturally. Okay? What's Baltimore? Running team. They can pass the ball, but they're basically a running team. I wouldn't count on them to some people may think this is going to be a shootout. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. Some people think that because the Ravens are playing at home and they're a hard-nosed team, that they're going to dominate the so-called finesse team in Miami. So all the likely characters in this, I'll go to the Baltimore Ravens first. Lamar Jackson, Gus Edwards, Odell Beckham Jr., Isaiah Likely, Tua Tagovailoa, Devon A. Chain, Tyreek Hill, and a definite wide receiver 3, 4, or flex in Cedric Wilson. Okay? That's all I can tell you. And you know what? If you have a kicker position, the Baltimore Ravens are going to be in a situation in the game that they'll get in scoring position, whether it's being able to kick a field goal or one of, if not the best kicker in the NFL, Justin Tucker, or a point after attempt. So you play the kicker because I think both these teams are going to move the football, but I think because this is a better kicker or one of the best, if not the best in the NFL, you play Justin Tucker if you got him. He shouldn't be on anybody's waiver wire, that's for sure. Next game is the New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. Let me tell you something. I would play the Bills defense against this Miami against the New England Patriots. Come on, man. I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. They're one of the worst teams scoring-wise in the NFL. I know it's a division game. I know that, okay? But Bailey Zappi this time around? Bailey Zappi this time around. Buffalo is 7th against the quarterback, 18th against the running back, 9th against the wide receiver, and 10th against the tight end position. They play the passing game better than they play the running game. So what I'm saying is this. Ezekiel Elliott. What else can I say? They're going to try to run the ball, keep it away from the offense of the Buffalo Bills. It's going to run the football. And who's that? Ezekiel Elliott. What's worst thing that Buffalo does on defense? Defend the run in fantasy football. To me, it's a no-brainer. All right? New England against Buffalo, 10th against the quarterback, 15th against the running back, 19th against the wide receiver, and number 2 against the tight end position. Okay. But who do I tell you to play on Buffalo? Josh Allen. Josh Allen been balling out. Regardless of what the record is, Josh Allen has been balling out. There's no way you're going to put Josh Allen on the bench and watch. No way. James Cook, you put that in your pocket right now and walk with it. James Cook, you got to play him. Stephon Diggs, I know. Stephon Diggs ain't been showing up and showing out of late. But against this Patriots team that he's eaten alive, come on, man. You got to put Stephon Diggs in there. I can't count on Gabe Davis or Dalton Kincaid. I can't. Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen are the key guys, along with James Cook, to play for the Buffalo Bills in fantasy football this week. All right. Come on. I told you only one guy that I have faith in New England. And Demario Davis, Hunter Henry, okay. That's Bailey Zappi. He's going to get it, and New England's good for getting to the ball to the tight end. Okay. Or Demario Davis, which happens to be the number 1 wide receiver. Okay. Low end flex, Demario Davis. Low end flex. You're crossing your fingers and see what happens. He may barely hit double digits. I'm telling you that right now. They may barely hit double digits. All right? They're playing in Buffalo. They're going to lock down this New England Patriot team, who they do not like. It's a division opponent, and they want to dispatch them quick and move on to the next week. Okay? Let's go to the next game, another 1:00 game. And these two, this is funny. This is funny. I told you about Roshan Johnson earlier, okay? About coaching staff mismanaging players. Speaking of that, Atlanta Falcons at the Chicago Bears. I don't know which team I can talk about mismanaging players the most. Is it Bijan Robinson, which I think he should play, even though Chicago is one of the tougher teams against the pass? I mean, against the run. Okay. Chicago Bears are 20th against the quarterback, 25th against the running back position, 11th against the wide receiver position, and 29th against the tight end position. They play the wide receivers the best. Tight ends and running backs and the quarterback position in fantasy points have an advantage over the Chicago Bears defense. Okay. On the other end, the Atlanta Falcons are 18th against the quarterback, 3rd against the running back and wide receiver, and 27th against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. They play the running back and wide receiver. And this is Atlanta. Top 5, top 3. Okay. They play them well. So you have Justin Fields, which you got to play him because he's a dual threat running a quarterback. But then you have Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert, and maybe even Deontay Foreman back, a 3-headed mess at the running back position. And then you have DJ Moore and the possibility of if or when Cole Kmet plays. So I can tell you this, 2 players, Justin Fields, DJ Moore. If you have one of those players playing, you have one of the running backs, put him on a bench. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. You have 3 running backs. And third, if Deontay Foreman is healthy or over his illness or personal issues, whatever it is, they're going to employ all 3. But I'm telling you, the best back out of the 3 is Roshan Johnson. He's younger. He can catch the football out of the backfield, plus run it better than Khalil Herbert and Deontay Foreman. I don't know why they're preventing this kid from coming out. Hopefully. And I'm going to go to Atlanta. Just give me a chance. Hopefully. Next season, they have a coaching staff, and that's saying that they won't have this coaching staff. They'll have a coaching staff that appreciates the ability of Roshan Johnson versus the other 2 older backs. Cheaper. He's cheaper. And I'm not saying that's the number 1, but he's cheaper. Plus, he's got better ability. He's got more explosiveness than Deontay Foreman and Khalil Herbert. Okay. To me, that's a no-brainer, but I don't get paid to make those decisions. Okay. Let's go to the other side in the other coach that I do not like. And there's not too many coaches that I don't like, but this coach has mismanaged this team and this offense something horribly. Bijan Robinson, the number 8 pick in the 2023 NFL draft. One of the best backs coming out of the draft this season is a dual threat running back. I should say a triple threat running back. And you've talked about triple threat running backs before. And he gets sporadic use. Instead of trying to feature him, and instead of trying to put him in there and get him going like a Chris McCaffrey, and I'm not calling him Chris McCaffrey, but Chris McCaffrey-like, okay? He puts him in there or doesn't put him in there, or he, like I said, plays him sporadically. Features Tyler Algier, which was fine. And I had talked about this earlier, that They had Tyler Algier, and it may be a committee, but it shouldn't be a committee. It should be the number 8 pick in the 2023 draft, and he hasn't shown that he is not worth that pick. He hasn't shown that he's not worth that pick, and you don't play him. And he comes out. I'm talking about the coach, Arthur Smith, comes out and said, "I don't pay attention to fantasy football, but you pay attention to your team's wins and losses. And if you have a player that is a special player, you play him. Hello? He's not Derrick Henry like when you were in Tennessee, but he's a special player. You can use him in many ways, and he is being misused. Okay? Oh, he has been misused in the past. Maybe he's caught in a hit and put him in there. But you play Bijan Robinson. Okay? I don't like any of maybe the because Chicago doesn't play the tight end position well. They're 29th against that. I would play Kyle Pitts. I don't like Kyle Pitts. I think he's been misused too. Not used often. Drake London, I'm not a big Drake London fan. No, come on. Taylor Heineke, the quarterback. You don't play Taylor Heineke. Come on. You don't play Taylor Heineke. They're playing in Chicago for one, outside, in the elements, in Chicago, against that defense. Good luck with Taylor Heineke. Bijan Robinson and Kyle Pitts are the ones that you should be playing. Okay? The other ones, you cross your fingers, close your eyes, and wish upon a star about the other players that you think are going to be fantasy relevant in Atlanta. I don't think so. I think there's only two. Let's move on to the next 1 o'clock game, and that would be the Tennessee Titans at the Houston Texans, a division game, and the Texans are hanging on by a fingernail to get into the playoffs or win the division. Hanging by a fingernail. Derrick Henry, you got to play. The king ain't the king no more. He ain't the king no more. Houston is 22nd against the quarterback, 16th against the running back, 14th against the wide receiver, and absolutely horrible against the tight end position, number 30th in preventing fantasy points. The Tennessee Titans are 15th against the quarterback, 10th against the running back, 28th against the wide receiver position, and number 1 against the tight end position preventing fantasy points. If you're a wide receiver on the Houston Texans, you're rubbing your hands together because this is going to be the game for you. The game for you. CJ Stroud is back, and he's got some weapons other than Tank Dell. He's got Nico Collins and Noah Brown, and I suggest you play Nico Collins and Noah Brown. Nico can be a wide receiver too, and Noah can be a flex. Okay? And you play Devin Singletary, even though Tennessee plays the run very well. The top 10. I think Devin Singletary will be able to take advantage of that. I'm not liking anybody on the Tennessee Titans. I'm not. Other than they like to run the football. Ryan Tannehill is more likely going to play, even if it's Will Levis. Come on, man. They're playing in Houston, and I've always said this, two teams that are in AFC South, they play better at home. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. You got money on the line. You got the Houston Texans, 8-7. You got the Tennessee Titans, 5-10. Okay. Tennessee has nothing to play for. Houston has something to play for. They're right there. They're right there. They're going to give their best effort in Houston. D'Amico Ryans has this team playing out most people thought the Houston Texans, they got it. They're gonna give him a couple years with a rookie quarterback. No, no, they're 8-7, right in the playoff hunt. Okay, let's move on to the next game. Another 1 o'clock game, and it's the AFC West Las Vegas Raiders at the AFC South Indianapolis Colts. And I'll tell you this. Indianapolis at home, I'll go to this first, is 12th against the quarterback, 30th against the running back, 7th against the wide receiver, and 24th against the tight end position. Okay. They can be run on. Really, they can be run on. And whether it's Zamir White or Josh Jacobs, they can be run on. I don't think Josh Jacobs is playing because of that quad. I think if you have Zamir White, you are a happy person. You picked him up off of the waiver wire before your other owners, and you're gonna play him. You play Zamir White. You play Devontae Adams. Okay. Otherwise than that, it's a crapshoot for the Las Vegas Raiders. The Indianapolis Colts are 12th against the what did I tell you this? Oh, this is almost identical. The Las Vegas Raiders are 13th against the quarterback, 22nd against the running back, 13th against the wide receiver, and 16th against the tight end position. But they're playing better. That defense is playing better under Antonio Pierce. But do I play Garner Minshew? No. Maybe in the 2-quarterback league, maybe. And that's just maybe. Jonathan Taylor, you play. Michael Pittman, if he plays, you play him. If not, Josh Downs gets an uptick. You play Josh Downs. Okay? That's how you go that route. All right. Let's move on to the next game. I'm going through these pretty quickly. And another 1 o'clock game. There's all these games. There's no Monday night game anymore. No Monday night game. This is it. This is where you're going to either know that you're going to go to and win the championship, or you're going to be in second place. Okay. Carolina at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Where's the Jacksonville Jaguars? The AFC South. And what did I say about AFC South teams? 2 of them. Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston Texans. They play better at home. Carolina Panthers. Okay. Bryce Young didn't have a turnover last week. I think he had one of his best games of the week last week. That was last week. This week, they're playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Jacksonville, 29th against the quarterback, 19th against the running back, 26th against the wide receiver, and 25th against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. They can be thrown on. They can be run on. Okay? Carolina is number 3 against the quarterback, 28th against the running back, 4th against the wide receiver, and 8th against the tight end position preventing fantasy points. Carolina can be run on. So, if I'm first, I'll go to the home team. If I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, 2 quarterback leagues, you can play C.J. Beathard. Okay. Trevor Lawrence is not going to play. He's out. Travis Etienne, Calvin Ridley, your main guys, including Evan Ingram. Those are the 3 guys you want to play. Those are the 3 guys you want to rely on. Okay? On the Carolina side, man, Carolina. I don't know, man. I don't like Bryce Young on the road with a suspect offense. I'm not too high on Chuba Hubbard, even though Jacksonville can be run on. Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo. You know what? I'm going with Jonathan Mingo. in my opinion, a better option than Adam Thielen. I know earlier in the year, but before the coaching change, that Adam Thielen was getting a lot of love from Bryce Young. I got to believe after the coaching change, they said let's let these two guys, young guys, grow up together, and hence here comes Jonathan Mingo. I like Jonathan Mingo in this matchup. Okay, and then we go from there. We go to the another 1 o'clock game. A lot of games at 1 o'clock. There's only 3 games at 4 o'clock and after, or 4 games. You got 3 games at 4:05, 4:25, and then you got 1 game at 8, which is I will get to that. All right, L.A. Rams at the New York Giants. Saquon Barkley, Darius Slayton, Darren Waller. Those are the 3 guys in whatever position you want to put them in. Quite naturally, Waller would go in the tight end position. And Barkley and Slayton are flexes. I wouldn't even put Barkley against this Ram defense in a RB1 or RB2. The Rams defense is 17th against the quarterback, 23rd against the running back, 27th against the wide receiver, and 9th against the tight end position. They play the tight end position better than they play the other positions. But this is the Giants. They only have limited assets, okay? They only have limited ability, and the offensive line affords them that. Can you trust Saquon Barkley in your fantasy championship to be a RB1 or 2? He's a flex, along with Darius Slayton. And if you are, I wouldn't say desperate, but if you are desperate because Tyrod Taylor is a good quarterback, you go to Darren Waller, okay? And if the Los Angeles Rams going up against the 17th ranked and against the quarterback, 23rd against the running back, 27th against the wide receiver, and 9th against the tight end position. You're playing Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has been on fire. He's been on fire. Absolutely been on fire. Kerryon Williams? Oh, yeah. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and even I had mentioned this guy 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. Demarcus Robinson. Hell yeah. Hell to the yeah. Demarcus Robinson. If you're looking for a wide receiver with upside, okay, Demarcus Robinson. I know this is the final week, and you got to make sound decisions. Well, that's a sound decision, in my opinion. He scored a touchdown over the last 3 weeks. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one, which would be the New Orleans Arizona Cardinals at the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a no-brainer game to me. Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, no-brainers. Against this defense? Come on, man. Come on. Arizona is 31st against the quarterback, 6th against the running back, 32nd against the wide receiver, and 21st against the tight end position. You play the assets that they have in Philly against this defense. I truly believe this is a get-right game for Philly, and there's going to be some fantasy points that Philly puts up. All right? On the other side, Arizona. Arizona, 28th against the quarterback position, 32nd against the running back position, 15th against the wide receiver, and 7th against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. Okay? Come on, man. They play the running back worse. DeAndre Swift should eat. In my opinion. Okay? So all those assets are viable to me. On the other side of the ball, Philly. You know what? I've been talking about Kyler Murray for the last 4 or 5 weeks at least. I like Kyler Murray. I think he's I wouldn't say transformed himself, but he's playing a different type of football than he played last season before he got hurt and the season before. Okay. I like Kyler Murray in this as a second quarterback in a 2-quarterback league. James Conner, I like James Conner in there. Philly can be passed on. Favorite target for Kyler Murray is Trey McBride. Trey McBride. That's who I like in this. That's who I like in this. All right. Well, Mr. FSP decided to show up, and I'll bring him on stage. What's up, Mr. FSP?
I didn't decide to show up. As you know, I got to do something in the morning, and it always paralyzes me to do it. Okay. I just completed it.
Okay. So no problem.
It's not that I just decided to show up, bro. It took me an hour and a half to do that, dude.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
Trey McBride.
Trey McBride. All right. I finished saying what I'm going to say about the Arizona Cardinals and Philadelphia in fantasy. Talk to me.
Well, here we go. Jalen Hurts walks in a Muhammad Ali jacket. I think he's ready to put some business down, right? I'm serious. I expect him to get at least 2 touchdowns and throw at least 1 or 2 to A.J. Brown. I think the casualties of warness are going to be DeAndre Swift and Slim Reaper, because he wants to prove a point. He wants to stop losing, and he wants to keep A.J. happy. A.J. has not been happy lately. This isn't going to be a pretty game. You say Trey McBride. I think the only real, 2 real Arizona plays here are.
Say again?
I said that's it. I don't want to take too much time.
Okay, no problem. All right, let's move on to a NFC South, and this could be for the division.
Yep.
In my opinion, the New Orleans Saints are 7-8, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 8-7. Okay. The Saints are 8th against the running back. 9th against the running back, 8th against the quarterback, 8th against the wide receiver, and 20th against the tight end position, preventing fantasy points. They have a decent defense. They can be thrown on, but not really effectively. They do well in preventing fantasy points in the passing. The New Orleans Saints is 26th against the quarterback, 5th against the running back, 29th and 28th against the wide receiver and tight end position, respectively. They can be gashed in the passing game. So what has Baker Mayfield been doing lately? Passing the football. And who has he been passing to? Of late, besides Mike Evans, who's been balling out all season, Chris Godwin. So you got to play them. This is played in it's played in Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Okay. And those options are, including Baker Mayfield, are really viable options to play, in my opinion. Mr. FSP, I'm not going to hog this up. You talk to me about the New Orleans Saints.
Well, as you said, JT, this is Tampa's opportunity to punch their ticket to the playoffs and win the division. Unfortunately for them, they're playing a pissed-off New Orleans Saints team. Last week was Derek Carr's best game of the year. I think he's going to follow that up. I expect to see a lot of Alvin Kamara. I even think Chris Olave is going to get off. The thing is here, will they be able to stop Mike Evans? Because Latimer and has historically been a problem for Evans. Not this year, at least not in the first meeting. Um, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but I expect to see Alvin Kamara, even Taysom Hill, to get in the end zone in this game. Uh, Derek Carr may or may not go for 350 like he did last week, but he's going to have a good game.
Okay. Let's talk about the next game, and this is going to be, I don't know how to categorize this game. It's the San Francisco 49ers at the Washington Commanders. And I'm going to give Mr. FSP the opportunity for the Commanders. I'm going to talk about the San Francisco 49ers. And I'll start this off with the San Francisco 49ers. And this is what I'll say. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle. How many players is that? That's 5 on one team. If you have a piece of the San Francisco 49ers, the Washington Commanders are one of, if not the worst team on big plays in the passing game.
They are.
In big plays against the passing game. The Washington Commanders, this is how bad this defense is. 32nd against the quarterback, 29th against the running back, 31st against the wide receiver position, and they only play the tight end position well. They're number 6. These Washington Commanders defense, now they may rise up, but I kind of doubt it. Against 5 viable weapons in fantasy? Come on, man. Washington Commanders, talk to me, man, FSP.
Well, Jacoby Brissett, who was scheduled to start, has a hamstring injury. Got it yesterday in practice. So guess what? Sam Howell's going to start. That kills all of the fantasy value, in my opinion, for Terry McLaurin. Not to mention, starting running back Brian Robinson still may be out. They just placed Rodriguez, who was doing well, on injury reserve.
Yep.
You know? Yep. So the question is Antonio Gibson up to the task versus Chase Young, who's returning to Washington in the same season, by the way, and that defense? I say no. I really say no. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If they score, it's probably going to be because Sly kicked some field goals. I honestly can't tell you to play Curtis Samuels or anybody on Washington's offense. I think Chase Young is going to want some retribution and say, hey, thank y'all for trading me to somebody that can go to the Super Bowl this year. But now I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
So, literally, I have nothing I can give you for the Commanders.
Okay. All right.
Not with Sam Howell playing.
Let's go to a team that's 8-7. Going to another team that's 8-7 in Seattle, the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Seattle Seahawks. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 21st against the quarterback, 27th against the running back, 23rd against the wide receiver, and 19th against the tight end position in preventing fantasy points. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 9th against the quarterback, 20th against the running back, 16th against the wide receiver, and 17th against the tight end position preventing fantasy points. Okay, people. I'm going to talk about the home team. You play Geno Smith. And I got a question last week. Yesterday, I should say, on the FSP show, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday afternoon, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Okay. About whether they play Tua or play Geno Smith. I was the only one to say play Geno Smith. Everyone else said Tua.
Yeah, because I traded on you. Go ahead and say it.
No, you don't know. Little did I know. And I don't know if any of these guys knew that Tua was dealing with an injury on his left hand, a thumb injury. And I think he also had another injury on his left side. Little did I know. I didn't know that. Okay. But that's even more supportive of me playing Geno Smith versus Tua. I'm not knocking anybody for thinking Tua is the play. Okay, everybody has their opinion. I'm playing Geno Smith against this Pittsburgh defense because I think the Pittsburgh defense can be had, especially playing at home. Okay. Kenneth Walker, I think it's a game time decision, if I'm not mistaken. He's still dealing with a shoulder injury and an illness, if I'm not mistaken. He's more likely to play. So you got to keep an eye on that. Because if he doesn't play, then you play Zach Charbonnet, without a doubt. You play Zach Charbonnet. You play DK Metcalf because he's him. He is him in this offense. And Tyler Lockett, I'm not a big fan. I think he's too inconsistent. And I'm talking about Tyler Lockett. I'm talking about JSN, Jackson Smith Njigba. I think he's too inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to get. Sometimes he's all in and he's all world. The next time, he's nowhere to be found. So I'm not putting JSN into this equation. I like Tyler Lockett. I like DK Metcalf. Kenneth Walker, if he plays. If not, then it's Zach Charbonnet and Geno Smith. Mr. FSP, you got Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't like Mason Rudolph at all. I don't think he's going to have a good game. He threw for 290 yards last time he played, but 190 of that went to Pickens on 4 passes. Think about that. That means for the rest of the game, he only threw for 100 yards to everybody else.
Yep.
And most of his yards came on 4 big plays. So don't bank on that. I think Najee Harris is a good play here because the run defense of Seattle isn't what it used to be. So I expect Najee to have a decent game. He's got to find Pat Freiermuth. If he doesn't, it's going to be a long, long day. Yep. He's going to try to force the ball to to George Pickens. And guess what? Kobe's going to intercept the ball, or the other cornerback's going to intercept the ball. Again, I think Najee and Freiermuth has to be a part of it. Jaylen Warren, I mean, honestly, he's the number 1 back now. I mean, that's the way I see it. So we shall see. Okay. That's all I got on that.
All right, man. We're going to the Los Angeles Chargers at the Denver Broncos. I'll take the Denver Broncos reluctantly. I really don't like either one of these teams, but 2 backups.
You know you love Sean Payton.
Yeah, okay. Let me. You know, I had said this earlier. I made a huge gaffe last week. Okay. And this is full disclosure. I made a huge gaffe last week. I said that Rashawn Johnson was going to break out last week, and
what's wrong?
I've just acquired a dislike for another head coach. For another head coach for mishandling players, especially running backs. And that's the head coach of the Chicago Bears. And ironically, the Atlanta Falcons, we're going back a little bit, Atlanta Falcons are facing the Chicago Bears. Two head coaches that mishandle and ironically, 2 head coaches that mishandle running backs from the University of Texas. And that's Rashawn Johnson, the Chicago Bears, and B. John Robinson at the Atlanta Falcons. Come on, man. Both those backs are better than the backs that they had originally on their team. But for whatever reason, they have an affinity to play the other backs versus the backs that are the better backs from the University of Texas. So it is. And I said this, and I made a bold statement. I said this last week. I mean, earlier in the program. Rashawn Johnson is going to be a key factor in the Chicago Bears next year. He's going to be a key factor because if and I do believe this is going to happen, they get rid of the coaching staff, the new coaching staff that comes in with Rashawn Johnson being on the roster is going to realize this is my better back. We got to get touches to this guy because he can catch the ball, he can block, and he can also run the football better than any of the other 2 backs, Khalil Herbert and Deontay Foreman. But be that as it may, let's go to this Broncos Chargers. I'll take the Broncos. Mr. FFP is going to take the Chargers. Jarrett Stidham. I ain't playing Jarrett Stidham. I know they're playing at home. I know Sean Payton decided to bench Russell Wilson to play Jarrett Stidham. Come on, man. And he said it's all about winning. Come on, man. Really? Okay.
Winning in the future. Winning in the future. That's
that. Yeah, okay. What I say you play is Javonte Williams, and it doesn't look like Marvin Mims, Cortland Sutton are going to play. And if that's the case, I'm telling you to play Brandon Johnson or Brad Johnson, whatever the wide receiver is for the other wide receiver.
Number 89?
Yeah. Yes.
He's a
Johnson.
big boy. He's a big boy.
Huh? He's a big boy. You're right. I'm telling you to play him because I'm not a fan. Like I said, Marvin Mims is not going to play. Unlikely to play. Okay. That leaves Jerry Jeudy. And I'm not a big fan of Jerry Jeudy. To me, he's just a guy. Okay. He's just a guy. But Jarrett Stidham got to throw him to somebody. Does he want to throw to a diminutive Jerry Jeudy, or he wants to throw to a big wide receiver in Johnson? That's the choices that they have. Okay. Besides the tight end. But in this offense, a tight end is not a big factor. Okay. So that's what I have with Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, because he's probably going to get the lion's share. And I'm not a big fan of Jerry Jeudy, and Johnson. I think it's Brandon Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, number 89 on the Denver Broncos. I like him a lot. Mr. FSP, talk to me.
Well, I got the Chargers, right?
Yes, sir.
No Keenan Allen, right?
Yep.
Palmer is suspect, right?
Yep.
They're seemingly trying to phase out Austin Eckler.
Yep.
That just leaves Everett, who's nicked up.
Yep.
I'll be honest with you. I don't like Joshua Kelly. I don't like any of those guys. Now, if you're in your fantasy playoffs and your fantasy championship and you're thinking about playing stick, God help you. I don't know how you made it to the championship, but you are a better man than me.
Yep.
With that being said, I'm still playing them, though, because I think, I'll be honest with you, I think the team is going to initially play sluggish because of what's going on with Russ. They might not like Russ, but I think they see themselves in his position too, if they believe the reports and what Russ said. And that's going to bode well for the Chargers, who, outside of that Raider game, they played pretty well. They just have lost. So, I mean, I really can't say to play anybody but the kicker. Just the kicker. Cameron Dicker, the kicker.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to the last 4 o'clock game of the fantasy football season. Is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, let me tell you this, people. Some people, and I'm going to go and play the Kansas. I'm going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Mr. FSP talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. Hopefully, he's in tune with what's going on with Cincinnati. You got to play Pat Mahomes. I got to believe this. This is a very banged up Cincinnati Bengal team, and I think Pat Mahomes is going to take advantage of that, especially playing at home. Isaiah Pacheco supposedly is going to play. You have to check the waiver wire. I mean, not the waiver wire. You have to check the inactives and actives, but it looks like he may play. If he doesn't play, then he played Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is dealing with illness
and concussion,
and he's questionable. Well, I'm going to go 3 deep in the running back position, people. I'm going to go 3 deep. If there's no Isaiah Pacheco, if there's no Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it's called a guy that most people don't know, but you got to do your research. Most people don't know. LaMichael Piron is going to be the guy. Okay, it's going to pick up the slack. Okay, so along with if those 2 players don't play, Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it's going to be a tandem of LaMichael Pirine and Demario Prince. I know you guys don't know who those two players are, but they may come to be the 1-2 punch of the Kansas City Chiefs this game because of circumstances of Isaiah Pacheco not playing and Clyde Edwards-Helaire being out. You play Rashee Rice. I said to you earlier in the season, way earlier. In fact, preseason, it looks like Rashee Rice has gotten the favor of Pat Mahomes, and that's proven throughout the season. Okay? Travis Kelce. Okay, this may be one of the last hurrahs for Travis Kelce. People saying, what? This may be one of the last hurrahs for Travis Kelce. Because it's Travis Kelce, you got to play him. That's all I'm saying. Because of Travis Kelce, you got to play him. Mr. FSP, you got the Bengals.
Well, I'll say this. I know P. Ryan because that's old boy that plays for Denver now, but played for Cincinnati before. That's his little brother who also went to University of Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner. So if that does happen, that's a good thing. But right now, it looks like Pacheco is going to play. So just give you a little heads up on that. As far as the Bengals situation, they lose, they have a 5% chance of making the playoffs. 5%. They win, just up to 50. The problem is you've got a banged up Mixon. He's going to play. You got a banged up Jamar Chase not playing. T. Higgins is a little nick, but he's playing. He's the main guy right now. But, of course, everybody has him. So Tyler Boyd is that guy that I think should get some touches in this game. Browning, I don't know what's going on. Maybe the NFL's caught up to him and said, hey, this is what we can do to stop him. Put the pressure on him. Stop the run. He can't get the ball out. But Samples is the guy he loves to throw to. Him and Irvin. Boyd, Irvin, Samples. Only person I can tell you to play in your fantasy championship would be Tyler Boyd, though. That's the only one I can tell you to play.
Ooh,
that's it.
Really? Okay.
Well, meaning out of the ones I said, he likes to go to.
Okay.
You play Joe Mixon, of course. You play T. Higgins, but those are guys you know you're going to have in your lineup. So no need to say to play them. You play them because they're your studs right now.
All right.
It's the Samples and Boyd that you're like, flex position, maybe tight end, maybe.
Okay. All right, let's go to the last game of the fantasy football season. 8:20 game. There's no Monday night game. 8:20 game, Sunday night, division game between the NFC North Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings with Jordan Love and company against the Jaron Hall. Yes, I said Jaron Hall because that's the rookie quarterback that's starting for the Minnesota Vikings with the playoff position online. I don't believe it. It boggles my mind, but it is what it is. Anyway. What the heck? Come on. In my opinion, don't play Jaron Hall. You don't know what you're going to get, man. You don't know what you're going to get. Alexander Madison, I don't think he's playing today. He's unlikely to play, but you got to check it. Ty Chandler seems like the best back that they have right now. You play Ty Chandler. Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver they have. That's a no-brainer. Then it comes to who's going to get the most of the balls. I think it's going to be a mixture of KJ Osborne and Jordan Addison, who's supposedly going to play. Otherwise than that, and the fact is this, they're playing at home. More than likely, they're going to be able to move the football. I said this yesterday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the FSP show. I always plug this show. Always.
Are you throwing subliminals?
Yes, I always plug this show. Regardless, I always, when I refer back to what I said on the FSP show, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday afternoon at Pacific time is 10 a.m. Anyway,
I mean, it airs before your show, but I understand what you're saying.
okay, all right. Anyway,
For no reason,
for no reason, exactly. Anyway,
there's a master plan.
master plan. This is
I
for no
said
reason.
there is a master plan.
Oh yes, there is the master plan. KJ Osborne or Jordan Addison. It looks like because of the circumstances in my one fantasy league, I may play KJ Osborne, but I'm holding out to see if and fortunately, KJ Osborne is the last game of the week. So the options I have will be played out earlier. And if I have to, I'll play KJ Osborne as the last resort. I'm only going for third place, but third place in this league that I'm in is going to pay more than most teams pay for a winner that wins first place. So this is important. So I'm saying that I would play KJ Osborne because you don't know what this rookie quarterback's favorite wide receiver besides Justin Jefferson. Every quarterback, I don't care what it is, rookie quarterback, first start, backup quarterback, or the starter has a favorite they like to throw to. You don't know. This is an unknown. This is a rookie quarterback. It's an unknown. So if you have to, you roll the dice with one of those other wide receivers other than Justin Jefferson, because you know he's going to probably get the lion's share, and who's going to pick up the most part of the scraps after that. Mr. FSP, you have Green Bay Packers and the one quarterback that you really show love for.
Do you know who Ray Parker Jr. is?
Ray Parker Jr., sure.
Okay. I'm in love with the other one. With the other woman.
Please.
I'm
Wait a minute.
in love.
Before you go any further,
my mind. I'm trying to take it over to
wait a minute.
to the crossover.
Before you go any further, I got to ask you this question. What happened yesterday on YouTube when a certain song was played?
No. The actual song being played, not someone singing it.
No, I said, didn't you just hear what I said? The actual song being played.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, it was two things actually. It was that, as well as, even though it's an open sourced item on X, the NFL was like, nah, that's our property. So the music that was played, Lupe Fiasco, can't do it.
Right.
But the video of Russ during that interview, which is open sourced on X, got flagged by the NFL.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a song. I didn't know
it was both. It was both.
Oh.
So you can't even use an open sourced. I use the whole thing. If I would have used 20-something seconds of it, okay. But I use all 1 minute, 30-something seconds of Russell Wilson's response.
Right.
But it's open sourced by people sharing it on social medias. But the NFL's like, nah, you can't do that.
Wow.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm not monetized yet, but we're trying to get there. And it also lets me know, because it happened so fast, that somebody is listening. That's all I care about. Because normally those things take like a minute or something. You know, somebody's got to review it and blah, 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 blah. But
it happened that quick?
Dude, it happened as soon as we get off the show. Literally, as soon as I stopped talking to Q on, when you left.
Right.
Because we were talking about some picks and whatnot. I get the email.
Oh. Okay.
Literally.
Oh.
Literally.
Oh. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. But let me get back to Ray Parker Jr.
Go ahead.
I'm in love with the other woman. My life was blind. Listen, listen. I say that and sing that to say that Jerry was right and I was wrong.
Oh,
Because now I'm in love with the other one. I think Green Bay made the right decision.
okay.
Play Jordan Love in this game. And I'm going to explain to you why. Even though his best receiver isn't Watson, and Watson's not playing, he's out, it's this kid Reed. He's going to grow with Watson over the years. If he can stay healthy, reminds me of Donald Driver.
Yep.
But, Donald Driver was what Brett Favre needed.
Yep.
And, and he can become Devontae Adams, who Aaron Rodgers needed. Just got to stay healthy.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then Tucker is becoming somebody that Jerry kidnapped and threw in the back of his truck when he was 14 years ago. Jermichael Findley, couldn't even remember his name. Jerry's the guy in the white truck or the black truck that you don't want to see and have around kids because he's going to kidnap them.
Oh, stop.
But Tucker, listen to what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Minnesota does not have Hawkinson, may not have Addison. This isn't going to be a big game for Green Bay. I mean, for Minnesota, starting a rookie. Justin Jefferson might get 20 targets, but how many is he going to catch? I think Jordan Love, Aaron Jones, and Reed, if he plays, but definitely Tucker, are going to have huge games. Huge games. Like I said, I'm in love with the other one, with the other woman. Please. My life was fine. Jordan Love, and I said this a couple shows ago, is a guy that I'm projecting to be a top 10 fantasy quarterback next year. Top 10. So right now I have him pegged as a backup, but let some free agent offensive player, namely offensive lineman, head to Green Bay next year. He skyrockets.
Okay. And let me reiterate what I said earlier. Miami Dolphins running back Raheem Mostert is not expected to play.
Yep, not expected to play.
And that reinforces what we talked to about with Dean playing Devon A. Chain.
Oh, with Sean. Yeah.
Sean. Yes, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully he's paying attention, and hopefully he knows that A. Chain is going to be the featured back behind for that Miami defense. Offense, even though they're playing against the Baltimore Ravens. But he's a speedster. He's a dynamic player, and I would play A. Chain.
So here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I'm going to tell you about that, JT, and I'm glad you brought that up because I got two things. Waddle's not playing. Mostert's not playing. That means Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to have a bigger role.
Yep.
Yes, it changed the starter. I believe he's going to score. But that means Jeff Wilson will also be more than just a kick returner. That also means Cedric Wilson has to step up. But the bigger play is going to be the tight end. Watch what I tell you. Because if Tyreek is taking the ball downfield or taking the defense downfield, that means the middle is going to be wide open for the tight end or the running back on an angle route. Wilson's going to have to catch all those, first down balls along with the tight end. But fantasy value here. Geno versus Tua. And I wish I would have told Sean that the show was happening today to talk about, because I didn't know what you were going to talk about. But Tua versus Geno in this situation, I'm going to say it's even. The reason why I say it's even is because even though I believe that DK Metcalf is going to work the hell out of Joey Porter Jr., Joey Porter Jr. has had the most pass interference calls on him in the NFL.
Got a lot of hands.
He's got a lot of hands, but the body size is there. He's just not as bulky or as fast. But I think that's going to be one of those throw the ball to DK games a lot. You saw CeeDee Lamb got 13 catches yesterday. I think DK is going to get at least 10 targets. I think. But the problem is, do I trust DK and Geno more than I trust Tua and Tyreek? And I trust Tua and Tyreek more now that I think about it. But I also believe a chain is going to do something. Here's the second thing I was going to say, and I'm not trying to monopolize.
No,
but I want. So I played a like $20 parlay. Here's the deal. I said, this is my parlay, that David Montgomery, CeeDee Lamb, what's my man? Justin Hurts, AJ Brown, Kyrie Williams, Josh Allen, CMC, Lamar, and a chain. We're going to get a touchdown.
Okay. All of them.
All of them.
Oh.
Now, here's the deal. Just last week, if folks didn't know, somebody in your neck of the woods in Jersey played a 14-team parlay just like that. And he won $500,000.
Okay.
I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, the names I just rattled off all might score. I mean, there's a high possibility. Only one I'm worried about is Lamar. That's the only one I'm worried about.
Well, let me ask you something. Is that Lamar running or is that Lamar passing, or does it make a difference?
It's running. He has to score or catch a touchdown.
Okay.
So, because it's an anytime touchdown. That means anytime they score the touchdown, they win. And something's telling me that he's going to get a quarterback sneak, or he's going to take off on Miami's defense and score a touchdown. Because last year, week 2, when they played and Miami made that furious comeback in the second half, Lamar ran for 140-something yards, threw for 350 or 400 yards and several touchdowns. I'm not saying that's going to be a repeat, but it is in Baltimore again. Lamar has done well. He's thrown for 4,100 yards already. He might hit 48 by the end of the season. But I think he's going to take off running.
Okay.
I think he's going to take off running. He's going to score. Listen, that I just say that to say you've got a lot of potential for touchdowns this week in your fantasy championships. Take the opportunity to look at what's going on in these early games.
Yep.
There are only like 4 or 5 late games, if I'm not mistaken.
There's only 3 late games, 4 o'clock games, and it quite naturally, the 8 o'clock game is the last game. So
yeah, so that's the 4th one. Yeah.
Yeah, the majority of games are at 1 o'clock, which the inactives will come out in about 10-15 minutes, and for the 1 o'clock games, and about 2:30 is the inactives for the 4 o'clock games. Pay attention. You got to pay attention, people. You got to. I mean, this is key. Don't overthink it, but this is key. You don't have to overthink it. You just look at the time that the inactives come out for whatever game that's being played, which is about an hour and a half before the actual games are played, and then adjust your fantasy lineups accordingly.
And I'll say this also, JC. Next Saturday, there are 2 games that are going to be played on in the NFL. We just don't know the 4 teams yet because it's a flexed thing. They keep running the advertisement on it. Or yesterday kept running the advertisement on NFL Network. Double header NFL Network teams to be determined. Mm-hmm. Just listen. I know your fantasy. Some people, like I used to do, have their fantasy championship go into week 18 because they do the 2-week playoffs per round. Consider that if you're in that situation. So I think you should still talk about the fantasy players next week, just in case you got people that are in that scenario, which isn't a bad thing, because if you do 2-week playoffs, that means you got 4 teams as opposed to like 8 or whatever, right? total points for 2 weeks wins the championship or wins that week or that matchup. So be cognizant of that, and happy New Year to those because it's New Year's Eve. Uh, Next show will be in the new year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had said earlier in the show, Happy New Year. Hopefully, have a healthy and happy New Year. As you bring in this the 2024, I know I'll be at the beach. Uh,
Oh my
come the
God!
well, just listen, just listen.
Go ahead, go ahead.
My, the tradition I have is I take my wife and I. We go to the beach to see the first sunrise of the new year.
Oh, I'm gonna steal that.
Hmm?
I'm gonna steal that.
What do you mean?
When we go somewhere where it's not cold as hell and
Well,
go to sunrise, I
let me
like that idea. I really like that idea.
yeah, well, this is and my wife complained about it the first time I wanted to do it. Now she's expecting it, which is no problem. That's just the way just the way things roll. That she gets excited about the being able to see me sitting out in the cold on the boardwalk. She sits in the car next to it, but able to see the sunrise coming up. And I
Hey,
usually and
I'm
I
gonna steal that today.
and
I'm stealing that shit today.
and 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 and, and I the last few years, last year, I didn't do it because it was rainy and cloudy, and there was really no point in going there in the rainy and cloudy weather because the sunrise was garbage. But I'm gonna do it this year because I know that tomorrow I already saw the weather prediction that I'll be able to see the actual sunrise of the first sunrise of the new year. I've done it before, and I'm gonna do it again. Post it on Facebook after I record it. So. Uh,
You know what, JT?
yeah,
I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna say like it's gonna be a beached well, but I love that idea. That is a tradition I'm gonna steal.
yeah,
I really am gonna steal that. That is awesome, dude.
yeah.
That is awesome. When did you start this? How many years ago?
I think 3 or 4 years ago, I something just like I said, things just come to my head, and I say, you know what, I'm gonna go out there. And the first year I did it, it was cold. I mean, it was cold as hell, cold
Well,
as hell. And I got my wife out of the freaking car, sitting on the boardwalk, watching the and recording it, and it was cold as hell. Recording it as the sun actually came off the horizon or off the ocean. I mean, it was awesome. It was awesome, and ever since then, that's what we do. I know the sunrise is going to be somewhere a little after 7 o'clock, and I'll be there probably a half hour beforehand. So I'm gonna catch the full effect of it.
dude, I gotta do that. I really gotta do that. I'm a man. I gotta see what time it is and what's a good spot over here. But it's cloudy and foggy here all the damn time. When around it's time for the sunrise. But
Mhm.
you know what? I give you credit, brother. I give you full credit on that. That is some baller type ish
Yeah,
without
man.
paying a lot of money.
I get a kick out of that, and so do people when I post it on Facebook. I mean,
Ooh, ooh, that's gonna be awesome when I go to Arizona and I buy the land with a mountain on it. Just go sit on top of the mountain and watch the sunrise.
yep, yep.
Oh, you a dog. No wonder you stole your wife from your friend. I had to dig that in there for the end of the year.
sometimes,
I
some,
ain't never gonna forget that.
sometimes I have good ideas. What can I tell you? Sometimes, in my opinion, I have good ideas. Some people may differ, but I thought it was a good idea at the time I did it, even though it was cold as hell, and I don't like the cold. So
Yeah,
I
I
was
feel
really
you.
dedicated to going out there and doing that. I did not like the cold. It was below 30, and the wind was blowing. It
Oh,
was
you
cold.
stupid.
It
Man,
was
you sit in that car and watch the sunrise over here.
it was it was cold as hell. My te- te- tears coming out of my eyes. It was cold as hell. And I stood
Well,
out there and watched the sunrise, man. And let me put it this way: the first time I did it, and it was cold as hell. I didn't when the sun started coming up. I didn't even pay attention to the cold, man, because it was like, wow, this is awesome. This is out. This is This is some good. This is some good, and I'm gonna say it. Some good shit.
Man.
Yeah. So
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the way Jerry and I can talk when he's not being obnoxious and a jerk towards me. So this is the type of stuff that makes him one of my real best friends, even though he's jealous of my BFF. He is so jealous.
I'm just trying to.
He's just so jealous of
I'm just
Q.
trying to expose how um now a person can be
Oh
versus
my
a
gosh.
long-term thing. So
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying,
Dude, you are so jealous for no reason. You are my friend.
I'm not jealous. Trust me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm happy in my own skin.
I've seen Jerry what 3 times in life in person, and uh, he has been one of the most staunch friends that I've had. He's been an asshole a lot. I mean, a lot for no reason because he's just from Jersey, and Jersey people are jerks.
Stop.
But I'm gonna say it on his show, formerly the Master Plan. He didn't want to pay me any royalties because I gave him the name and all that other stuff. But he changed it for no reason. I know his little. See, Jerry does these side things. He's like, nah, I don't want to give Vic nothing. But he is somebody. 15 years now. 15 years. So I've been in the military 20. So pretty much he's been a staunch friend of mine, even when he and my crew was composed of my cousin, may he rest in peace, one of my best friends in the world, Ricky, and Chris LaMonica from Nicest. Did you know he was actually Chris LaMonica from CL Smooth?
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, from the rap group. That guy, and Black and everybody.
And Jeff.
Yeah, and Jeff. Can't forget Jeff. May he rest in peace as well.
Yeah.
JT has been there for a while. In my avatar picture you see right there, that's when I was in Germany doing the Super 6 football games with my buddy JD, who just retired. But that was a time where JT was running the show for me because of the time difference.
Yep.
And somebody you've never met, and at that time I had never met JT.
Nope.
I just knew that he was somebody that was dedicated, kept winning all of my prizes, so I had to put a kibosh to it. I want my Ray Lewis picture back, by the way. That's what you're going to send me. I don't care what you say. You're going to send it back. But it went from somebody being afraid to talk on air and all this other stuff to this obnoxious jerk you now see that has all this information that he shares with you. I'm not saying he's right all the time, but he's right a lot. He's right a lot. But when it comes to me, I'm right more than he is. But it's been a very, very long time that we've been friends. And my brother, trust me, Q is my man, 150 grand, especially when we hitting these parlays and stuff. But you have nothing to worry about. I got to reassure you, like Azure, you know.
Wait, I got to talk to you after off air because I saw a picture, and
of
I'm
me.
like, I saw a family picture that I have to ask you about.
Oh yeah, that's all my children.
I have a family picture that I have to ask you about.
Mine or yours?
Yours.
Okay, and I told you all those kids are mine.
I understand that. I have a question to ask you. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, one, I didn't create, but that's the family.
I understand that.
But go ahead. I know we went off on a wild tangent.
Okay.
But
people, it's 11:30. 1 o'clock inactives come out any minute now. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to the ones that come out later on for the 4 o'clock games, and pay attention to what happens at the 8 o'clock game. Last game is at 8:25. Packers versus the Minnesota Vikings. That may determine where you stand, whether it's first, second, third place
Oh,
in your respective fantasy playoffs. Pay
can I say
attention. Pay
can I say
attention.
one more thing? One
Go
more
right
thing.
ahead.
Hey, Sammy, I don't know if you watching or listening. You getting knocked the fuck out, man. How the hell did CD Lamb go off? This is for the Neighborhood Street Football League. Since Jerry talked about first, second, third, I can tell you with confidence in our fantasy football league, it's over after 2 games have been played in the NFL.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
It's
The
over.
1.5-time champ ain't going to repeat. He's going back down in the gutter, but now I got to deal with Paul Paul.
Yeah.
Paul just as bad as Sammy.
Okay.
But that's all I got to say.
I got a question here, and I just saw it. It came in at 11:19.
Okay.
About 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, whatever. Week 2 of my championship PPR, down a bit and need to make up some points. Sit 1. Devontae Adams,
Oh.
Cooper Kupp, Aaron Jones, DK Metcalf. And to me,
snap.
and to me, it's a no-brainer. You don't sit Devontae Adams. You don't sit Cooper Kupp, and you don't sit DK Metcalf. The one you sit, in my opinion, is Aaron Jones.
Oh, we kind of disagree.
Okay.
Now,
that's why I put it out there.
No, I say this, and this is going to sound blasphemous, because all those matchups have good matchups.
Yep.
They all got good matchups.
Yep.
All of them, right? I'm not sitting Aaron Jones because I believe he's going to be an integral part in why Green Bay is going to do what they do, and it's the last game of the week, so you know how many points you're going to need, if any. And if you don't need any, you can always pull that player off of your lineup.
Okay.
As I said, I think DK is going to get maybe 10, 15 targets this game, especially against Joey Porter Jr. I agree with you. You don't sit Devontae Adams, even though the Raiders have been winning without him getting a large volume of targets or catches. If you notice, they beat Kansas City and they only had 3 catches. They beat the Chargers. He didn't have that many things, right. But you still gotta play him. I'm saying sit Cooper Kupp. Blasphemous,
what?
Right? The reason why
Go ahead. I'm listening.
The reason why is I love Cooper, and you know this. You know I love me some Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I know that.
But the flavor of the year is Puka Nacua, and Puka needs 9 or 10 catches to break the NFL history record of receptions by a rookie. And who are they going against? The Giants, who play man-to-man a lot. I'm not saying Cooper Kupp ain't going to get his, but he's not going to do more than Puka because I think they're going to feed Puka so he can get that NFL record. And as of late, Cooper has only put up one really solid game where he's been consistent all game and not in the last quarter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, believe it or not, out of what you just said, I would sit Cooper Kupp.
Okay. Well,
blasphemous.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now I was going to say blasphemous, but out of the options, that's who I would sit.
All right. Just so you know, Minnesota is 14th against the running back position in fantasy points. Middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So I don't expect a big game, in my opinion, for Aaron Jones. And that's why I would say Cooper Kupp, who Matthew Stafford likes, who still likes Cooper Kupp thrown to, and that offense has been super hot going up against a Giant defense that let me just get to this Giant game real quick, and I give you some fantasy.
Well, the Giants blitz a lot and they play a lot of man. That's Wink Martindale, right? So when you get the ball out, you're going to get it to Cooper Kupp. You're going to get it to Puka Nacua. And I'm not disagreeing that all those guys are going to be getting or they're getting the targets. It's just I think Aaron Jones offers you more opportunities
Okay.
running the ball and catching the ball, especially when Minnesota that transition to the 3-4. Brian Flores has done one hell of a job changing it within a year to a acceptable defense.
The last tidbit I'll give you, Steven, if you're still listening, is the Giants are 27th in preventing fantasy points in the wide receiver position. 27th. Yeah. So they're the bottom. They're near the bottom. That's almost closer to the bottom you can get. The 27th. There's only 32 teams. So they're really way down there in preventing fantasy points. I mean, they got their defense, even though some think that the Giants have a decent defense, I have to beg to differ because when it comes to fantasy points, against the running back or wide receiver, the 23rd and 27th, respectively, in preventing fantasy points. So they're not good against running back to wide receivers. So even though, Mr. FSP thinks to sit Cooper Kupp, I got to rail against that. But it is what it is. I mean, you got the opinion that you asked for from
what? Sit DK. Sit DK.
Sit DK. Are you crazy?
I'm just saying, you railing against it. I'm gonna just say.
No. I'm not sitting DK when I say I love Geno Smith, and they're playing at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense ain't all that, especially 23rd in preventing fantasy points. Not 23rd, they're 16th. They're middle of the pack in preventing fantasy points, and against the wide receiver position. DK is one of those guys that dominates DBs.
Well, I'll say this. The weather up here isn't that nice. It's very foggy and all that other stuff. But my wife just walked down. Go ahead. We're going to watch the sunset in the morning.
What I'm saying is this.
The sunrise. Because I'm sorry if you hear her talking, JT.
That's okay. That's all right.
She just wanted to spank me on my booty. That's all. That the young things, you can't do that no more.
What?
I said the young things.
Yeah, okay. Keep thinking that, brother. Keep thinking that. Keep thinking that. Anyway. All right, people. I want Mr. FSP to stay on there until after the show. After we end the show. But I want to thank everyone for listening, especially Stephen Grace. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I hope we gave you some good advice that you may use. And next week, the first week of the new year, on Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will see and hear the master, me, on 4NOREASON Fantasy Football. But before that, on a Saturday, it'll be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time will be the FSP show. Will be the first show of the new year. And hopefully you'll be able to come and listen and watch us go back and forth as we do every show. Be safe. Enjoy the new year. Enjoy the sunrise if I gave you an idea. And we're out. See ya.